Well, Nelson, thanks for stopping by the ranch today, and I wanted to chat with you about what's going on with these mechanical cows. I've noticed a lot of people getting them. You've actually set me up with one, and I thought the audience should know what's going on with it and how productive it can be and how educational it can be for the owner and the horse. At first I thought it was just, for the, range cow horse people and the cutters, but, and then I found likewise. So kind of help me out a little bit. How's that working?
It's been working very well. The product itself is designed to help people get more out of their horses with respect to form, position, quietness, being able to actually get in that position and utilize themselves, utilizing their rear ends, they're getting to turn over their hocks, and be able to have more fun with the horse because the horse is doing something productive. They're following an object, they're stopping straight, they're rolling back, they're stepping back before they roll over, and it gives them much more control. In the area of cutting or cow horse, it's the sport. That's what they do. Their job is to keep that cow in containment. But for people who are doing ranch sorting, team penning, even in Australia they have camp drafting, you have this entire sport that's related to how you interact with a cow. And you can't get horses to understand what they're supposed to do and when if you don't have some repetitive way, some predictable way to teach them.
Yeah, I had to agree with that. Here at the ranch, we work with problem horses and probably work with beginning or returning riders. And I have to tell you, the piece of equipment has done wonders because, we do a lot of introduction to cow clinics here, and of course they all want to get in there in Yahoo. And people used to spend a lot of time in horsemanship, and now they just want to go have fun with the cows or something. So I kind of backdoor them a little bit, and I said, well, good. Well, let's start here in the arena, and we'll get you going on this electronic cow. I guess it's still called the mechanical cow, but the way you have that all set up with the 5 memories, it's very cool. So I think electronics now. And I said, okay, if you can follow this cow, this mechanical cow, then we'll go play cows. Sure. Well, they get on there and they're turning the horse around. The horse is not stopping. It's running through their hands. And this is at a slow speed now. Yep. So, and then I get them a little bit more and I turn it up, what I mean? And all of a sudden they realize they have no body control. There's no handle on this control. So then we get an opportunity to try to get a little better handle on it. And then we go up to the cows and, introduce it to them. And then find out they still need body control, So let me ask you this for the professionals. I mean, the professionals have been using this for a long time. And a lot of people don't understand this. And the professionals, sometimes they don't get their horses on, they don't cut all the time with cows. Number one, from what I understand, they burn out the cows.
Yeah, you can only use them for a short while, and then they get a little arrogant, belligerent, and then you can't use them anymore.
Yeah. So this device, really, this piece of equipment can really save a lot of cow.
Yeah, it extends the use of the cows.
Yep. Now, what's so important about, now you talked about positioning, the backup, the draw through. What's so important about that?
Well, the idea is everything to do with cattle has to do with control, having the advantage. And to properly control a cow, you have to know where to be. If you want to push him along at the hip, if you want to stop and turn him, you need to be just past his head. When he stops, you have to stop. If you're rolling around, he can scoot out from behind you.
Gotcha.
If you're not in position, he can continue on the same direction. He can come right at you. He can scoot out and get around. So the idea is to be in the right position, have the horse stopping square so that you now can react. If he goes forward, you're in position. If he goes the other direction, you're in position. And if he tries to get out from around you, you're in perfect control to back up, take that roll over, and continue on.
Great. Well, that sounds like some good training, though. I mean, that's strategy, right?
Right.
But with that strategy, has to be some training with that. And so does that help the professional? I mean, I understand that you got some pretty big name people using this electronic cow.
Yes.
You got Al Dunning. Who else do you have working using that?
Well, the pros in cutting are people like Matt Gaines, Austin Shepard, Barbara Schulte's been there for quite a long time, Carol Rose and Jay McLaughlin in the cow horse industry. All the top cow horse guys have it, Crawford, Bob Avila.
Well, the reason I bring that up, because a lot of people think they just go on the people go on the cows and that's all they do all day, you know what I mean? They don't realize the amount of time and effort that's put in dry work.
Sure.
And how important, you know, the responsiveness to the horse. So they probably do a lot more training on the horse than, let's say, the novice horse in preparation, even when using electronic cow.
Actually, most of them use the combination. They want the predictable situation. They want to be able to replay the situation. One of the guys, Tommy Thompson, actually told me that the benefit he has is that he wants to box and then go down the fence. Well, if he has to get a new cow out, he has to prepare the cow. He has to get the cow just in the right position, use him just enough to get the right amount of air to start going down the fence. With a mechanical cow, he can do that boxing repetitively until the horse and rider get it. Then they can shape into the corner and go down the fence. They don't have to worry about using up cattle while they're just working on one particular problem. Yeah. A lot of the trainers, Al Dunning in particular, has his round pen with his cattle in it and his mechanical cow set up right next to it. What that allows him to do is see an issue with his cow work, go down, reproduce it with the mechanical cow, look at how his horse is reacting, correct it, and then go back to the herd again and try it again. So you have this predictable way of dealing with what he calls an unpredictable situation. This works for the novice, getting the seat, getting that balance, getting the feel where the horse is shifting from under you and you're not leaning into it. There's a lot of personal control that goes along with the process. Being able to float in that seat as that horse sweeps through and stay with the horse as opposed to getting thrown off or losing your balance or even trying to predict with the horse and pulling them left and right.
I guess good seat training goes in any discipline,
Absolutely.
doesn't it?
Absolutely.
But in, you know, the cow work and cutting, you know, we have a tendency to get a little lower center of gravity. We get down on our pockets, almost a bad posture because we want to stay low on it.
Exactly.
Well, I have to tell you that, you know, that predictability, that's what's neat about, you know, electronic cow is, you know, the machine that I have 5 programs on it. And 4 programs, excuse me, I'm sorry. 4 programs on it, and I can dial that in for any different thing that I want depending on the type of clinic. As the rider gets better or more comfortable, the horse is being more tuned to it. Let me ask you this, and you're around the pros all the time. You know, from I get a lot of horses here. You know, ex-cow work horses. Some could care less about the flag. They never even get hooked on. But yet they can do the flag work. A lot of people seem to think that they have to be hooked on to the flag, and I don't see that's a necessary step. Is that so?
No, the key is to have that control of the horse in the discipline you're dealing with. So, you know, if you're doing ranch sorting, I mean, that's organized chaos,
sure.
Right?
Yeah.
You've got, you know, 11 cows in there, and the guys are trying to get them around through the hole.
Yep.
And they've got to be in position. They've got to know how to get the right cow in the right position to get it down to the hole. Team penning's the same thing. You know, they call out that number and everything. It just go. Yeah. If you go too far, you're going to turn the cow back the other direction. If you're too far behind it, you're just going to be chasing it for minutes at a time. So the idea behind these products is to have whether or not the horse is actually locked on and right there and bobbing, weaving with the flag isn't as important as when you have the horse moving, following it, and that stops. Does your horse stop in the right position? Are you at that hip? Are you at the head? You know, can you get the horse to be where you need it to be when you need it to be there? And that's the real benefit of having a product.
Well, and it sounds like it's actually training the rider to be in tune. You know, especially if you got we got horses here get hooked onto the flag, and once they get the hang of it, you know, you got it made. But if you got a horse that's not quite in tune with it, not hooked on, it's really up to the rider to be in tune with it.
Exactly.
And act accordingly without ripping the horse's face off or pulling around, you know.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it could really be useful, and we see it here all the time. I mean, I get a horse, when I think I got a pretty good handle on it, I go to Electronic Cow, and I see what kind of job I've done.
Exactly.
And it shows me where I need to go back and work on it, and then come back maybe the next day or maybe 20 minutes later or something and come back.
Sure.
And see if we made an improvement. So it's not necessarily, it's actually, in a way, I was kind of thinking about it, actually in a way it's kind of like having a trainer school you without having a trainer there.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Because because the Electronic Cow just does its thing, you know, whatever program you have, and it's up to you to keep your horse off the cow, you know, with your cow leg and stay in position, and the flag tells you if you're out of position or your timing is off, because the flag is going back and you're still sitting back over here, you know, because your timing is not there. Exactly. You know, so it really causes you to get more in tune with yourself and be more responsive yourself. And not rely on the horse as well.
Well, exactly. And in competition, you have these unpredictable situations, and the horse is going to do the best he can in that situation. He may have a great day, he may have an off day. You have to be thinking about where he needs to be and help correct them. You know? And in most of the sports like cutting and in the herd work and cow horse, you know, your hands are down.
Yeah.
Everything's done with your body, your seat, and your legs. And so you need to practice all the time and have the horse understand what you're asking him to do. And if nothing else, if this tool can help you communicate with your horse that I want you to move away with this leg, I want you to move in with this leg, I want you to get up after the cow. You know, these are the kinds of things that you want him to do for any discipline. You know, get up after it, even if you're just going off on a trail. You know, being able to have that communication without pulling on his head. You know, the whole idea, if you have a bridle horse and you pull to the right, the horse's head's going to the left. Yeah. So you need to keep your hand down, and you need to be able to guide him, and that's a practice that this product gives you.
Well, even in good horsemanship, because it follows along with that suit, is, you know, when you got a good bridle horse, it's just a light feel. You know, if you got to be pulling that horse around, that just tells you your horse is not where it's supposed to be.
Exactly.
And you also bring out another good point. A lot of times here at the ranch, I tell people, listen, next week we're going to ride bridleless. So you got to learn to start riding with your seat and legs, you know, and your body. And the idea of that, so that you don't have to, because it's everyone's natural reaction to be pulling on that horse, you know, to move it. And so when we get out here to do that mechanical cow, I call Electronic Cow, it really wakes them up. You know, because the more you pull on them, they stiffen up, and you're not going to execute a nice turn, or a nice turn on the forehand, or a turn on the haunches.
Sure.
You know, in a regular maneuver. Well, Nelson, I think that's great. You know, I'm glad you came by, because I knew how valuable it is working for me in my training program. But you know, we're not a cutting barn, we're not a rein cow horse barn. You know. I happen to have a little bit of background in it, probably enough to get me into trouble.
There you go. You
know, but have some fun. But it really helps educate our clients, and I appreciate you coming by. Oh, before I forget, I want you to, this new arm wrist that you set up is great. I had a chance to use and play with it. It has, the old one you set me up with, had just these controls here where you do memory and record and play. Now you got it so if I'm on memory, if I'm riding, I can just reach over here. I can slow it down
Right.
if I need to make work on my horse at a slower speed. Or if my horse is doing good, I can go ahead and click up the speed by hitting the positive.
Right.
And that's phenomenal. That's been really working
Terrific.
well for me. It just puts all the controls right in your hands.
Mm-hmm.
And here again, thank you.
Thank you for having me.